Alright, hello everybody, hello Zarmegas, welcome back to Rose Guns Days. Last time, it feels like it's been forever, and I keep saying that. In a few days it really will be like it's been forever, because, just today and tomorrow, by the way, yeah, this will continue tomorrow, as we'll hopefully end the 1948 arc tomorrow. Hello Apparition, welcome to the stream. And, we're all set. Hello, Luca. Welcome to the stream. We're all set to rescue Zell's father. Everything's in place. They just have to... their training's done. They met the freaking movie director. And, hopefully Zell has got a shot at her own Disney Channel show now. Let's get back into it. Awesome! All the newspapers are talking about us. Does this mean we're about to make a worldwide debut?
Don't get cocky, fools. It's just a farce Meiju set up.
Still, it feels good. They're pretending to be a famous band. No. We just need Meiju-san to get us into that restaurant as guest performers. Oh, please tell me if the music and voice volume is fine for you guys. Meiju-sama will certainly do it. Oh, yeah. There are no promises he can't fulfill. Hello, T. Welcome to the stream. You really do trust Meiju-san, don't you, Shalon? Yeah. If you mess up, Meiju-sama might be placed in a predicament. Yes, I know. Our failure just won't affect us. It might affect all of you who helped us. Yeah, it won't just be us.
We'll make absolutely sure we don't screw up. We understand. That tiny girl there is doubting us, is she? She doubts this ridiculous plan will actually work.
If you're still immature, I'll stop this plan if it means cutting all the tendons in your legs. Damn. Shalon doesn't fuck around. Everyone, it looks like Shalon wants to test us to see if we can really do it.
Fine with me.
Perfect.
True. If we can't even pass the test, we'll never be able to do the real thing. Sure, Zell. Tell her we'll do any test she wants.
They say they'll take any test you want, Shalon. We'll make sure you're satisfied. I'll never be satisfied. There's no backing down, okay? I really will fucking kill you. Oh boy, here we go. Oh my god, I was literally right next to the end of a fucking chapter. Are you serious? Oh my god. Wow. I can't believe it. We're waiting. Yeah, we are. The Primavera VIP room was packed with all the leaders, Rose included. Rose finished her long speech. For a while, the room was wrapped in a silence, disturbed only by the ticking of the clock. I want to hear all your thoughts. After saying that, Rose stood up and walked to the window facing away from them. She probably meant to let them control the flow of the discussion.
We're soldiers. If you tell us to fight, we fight. And if you tell us to die, we can die. We can do that because we believe our deaths will form the cornerstone for our countrymen. There's a difference between being prepared to die and dying like dogs. Of course. We can die because we'll be revered as honored war did. And our wives and children will be fawned over in their homes for being the relatives of heroes. Oh, yeah. Simple put, we ain't afraid of death. That's why we're, well, like a bunch of spoiled brats who want to be fawned over. You aren't wrong there. How pathetic. Are you so afraid to lay down your lives? Don't get the wrong idea, kid. It's just that it's boring to put your life on the line for no reward. Wayne Coon, would you risk your life for a job that has nothing to do with Madame Rose? And that didn't even help Primavera. Okay, that's enough of that. Don't bully Wayne. He's had enough of that, you know. Shh.
The bosses were all wore uncomfortable or vague expressions. Apparently they hadn't fully accepted the decision Rose had made. However, they also knew that this was the best possible plan to protect the lifestyles of their fellow Japanese and to protect the future of their countrymen. Something that seemed to be the best choice for this era might not be the best choice for the future. When making a choice for the future in mind, it's possible that the choice will seem far from ideal for the current era. Such a decision might be applauded in the future, but it'll probably be showered with criticism in the current era. How often it happens that heroes, politicians, and artists are appreciated in the future. How often it happens that they go unappreciated, even criticized, and end their lives in disappointment. Even if they believed they would be appreciated in the future and bet their lives on it. No one could guarantee that they ever would be appreciated. This is a very Higurashi themed discussion right here.
After much thinking and broken hearts, Rose and I reached this decision regarding the GDS's ultimatum. This decision will probably not be understood by the city folk who support us. No matter what we say, they are unlikely to listen. They'll probably believe that we, the ones who stood up to protect their countrymen, have betrayed them, and they will criticize us for it. I will support Madame Rose. We formed Primavera because we truly cared about the lifestyles of our countrymen. We certainly aren't hypocrites who began this so we could be praised and idolized by our countrymen. This is basically the foundation of mafias. Money, fear, and respect. In other words, we people who stray from society just want the world to acknowledge us. Although, in that sense, we've succeeded. That's right. Right now, we're feeling really good about ourselves.
When we walk through the city folk treat us like heroes.
When we came back from the battlefield, no one greeted us with waving flags. And now we've finally gotten what we wanted.
Of course, we wouldn't dislike it.
And all you're asking to turn around, you're asking us to turn that all around and let it go. No one will praise us or fawn over us anymore. Honeymoon's over, sweet cheeks. We'll probably be treated like ladies of the evening or bodyguards. No, even worse.
Oh, God, I can only imagine how that would feel.
I know, right? Yes. Anyway. Hello, Mystery Theater. Welcome to the stream.
In the end, we're women in the shadows. From the start, he'd already fallen as far as we could fall. Nowhere to go but up.
That's true enough. It's more than what we'd had until now. has been a happy, more like what we've had until now has been a happy dream. When we go shopping, we're given stuff for free. Children crowd around us.
It would have been unthinkable before. It felt good.
Will you women accept this? Of course, consigliere. Ever since we started as ladies of the evening, we never intended to be saints.
I agree with Rose too. How long are you guys coming along for mommy's breasts? You're a trade that can be bragged about under the sun, right? How many of you are saints with no blood on your hands?
Let's go back. Back to being people hated by the city. Hey, it was a nice year. Isn't doing dirty jobs that no one wants to what the underworld's all about.
Any babies that play the mafia want to be found if we can go home, okay? Trying to be bad.
Now that's harsh. But you're right. Since the distant past, men have been creatures who can't easily get out of the kotatsu once they're gone in. And this decision would be like kicking the kotatsu away and abandoning it. Primavera will probably lose the support of the people. The people will probably criticize this decision and remember it for a long time. Maybe even one day, old ladies will tell our story about how we became evil and twisted. That probably won't change until we die. But even so,
I'm certain that this is the best decision for the Japanese people. I won't force anyone to support me if they don't agree. After all, no one can guarantee that I'm right.
I'll stick with Madame Rose. After all, then I'm an unpopular stray dog. I'm not built to get smiled at and fed by passers-by. Being hated is just fine. Getting fawned over by city folk is shit. Well, I imagine you would say that. Back to the status quo for y'all. What about you veterans? Don't tell me you entered the army because you want to be popular with the ladies. Yeah, there were people like that. I won't deny it. It wasn't bad striding around with massive medals hanging off you. Well, only some of them were fools like that. For most of them, it was just a single slip with the draft notice. For a slip of paper that cost only .015 yen to post, everyone would cry and give tearful farewell to their child. Ooh, that takes them back. In the end, we're soldiers. Unless someone orders us to go out and die, best we can do is drink and be a burden to our wives and children. So that's what this is about. Our will doesn't mean a thing when faced with a single draft notice. Are you okay with that, soldiers? You are a leader, and the madam is the god who rules above you. If the great and mighty madam has issued a decree for the big fight, we can't refuse. After all, we're a bunch of hated fools. Plus the fools act like fools and try not to think about complicated things. And hated people better act like hated people. And get hated like hell. Madam, you sit at the peak. We'll obey you. And anyway, what Wayne-kun said makes sense. Huh? We may not look it, but we're pure evil. I was just stunned to think that fawned over by city folk didn't suit our character. Rose, it seems we have a decision.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for deciding to walk down this thorny path with me. The city folk will probably turn on us. I'm sure it'll be painful and sad. But I'm sure that someday, even if it's in the distant future, our countrymen will understand. And so, Madame Rose's decision was met with unanimous approval. It marked the end of the strange season where they were fawned over by their countrymen despite being members of the underworld. They'd be abused and scorned. No one would look back on them and they would not be rewarded. Rose and Primavera decided to walk down that thorny path.
It seems like the plan won't begin until Oliver secures the room where your father's being held.
Yes. There'll definitely be a single guard in front of the treasure house.
That's if you're lucky. There may be 2 guards.
When Shalon motioned with her hand, 2 GDS bodyguards who'd been calmly leaning against the wall came forward.
So we need to let that spindly kid kick us? Can we pay him back afterwards? We aren't sandbags.
The first move alone will be Oliver's. After that, you can fight back however you like.
Everyone, please give it your all, without holding back.
Heh.
Sheesh! She brought out them tough ones.
There'll be no problem for Oliver. An easy win.
I know. Still, it could be extremely difficult to take out both of them with one hit.
So I get a second helping right from the start. Perfect. The more trading partners to test the kicks I learned from Lee Meiju, the better.
Meiju-san gave you his stamp of approval. Believe in yourself. Believe in the Oliver that I believe in.
What about you, Zell? Do I have your stamp of approval?
Of course! Oh my god!
Okay. No problem. Zell, some Chinese, please. Call for some help to carry those 2 big guys to a bed.
Oh, wow.
I hear the boss taught you how to kick. I'll let you use my chest to see what you've got, okay? If you get a fail, you'll be in the rest of your training for the boss on a hospital bed.
They're ready whenever you are.
Oliver, good luck. Here we go. After jumping a little and loosening up his body, Oliver let out a deep breath. Apparently he had been completely emptied his lungs. Shalon immediately recognized it as a unique breathing technique Meiju used to concentrate during real battles. Oliver slowly walked forward, closing the distance between them. He walked with a neat, quiet gait. He hid the sound of his footsteps well. This style of walking was the foundation of the assassin's techniques he'd learned from Meiju. When the bodyguards saw this, they went pale. Hello, Guppy Force. Welcome to the stream. They earned their food money from fighting. They could feel the unique, well-polished killing intent. So they reacted reflexively. Even though Oliver was supposed to get the first move, they moved first. Right before it came, they sensed that Oliver's first attack, which they were supposed to let him hit them, was something to be feared.
We're not gonna let you get the first move. That's right. Prepare for my muscles. Where did he? What? Ha! KO, motherfucker! That's the power of Lee Meiju's techniques. Unbelievable. Yeah. 2. And now for the second shot. Three. Breaker style. Here we go. KO from the legendary Majima.
No.
Woo!
It was a wonderful performance with beautiful flowing footwork. Oliver had always had talent when it came to fighting. Courage and kinetic vision, power and speed. He had all the foundations. However, he had neither techniques nor knowledge. These things only mattered when all the foundations were present. So this was inevitable, and it was perfected. He just gained a whole fuck ton of power levels right there. The 2 bodyguards received fierce attacks to vital areas and were knocked out. They would probably wake up in a while, but it should be easier to tie them up and throw them somewhere in the meantime.
How's that?
Magnifique! Très magnifique! And nice, that was amazing! You've really been training hard, Oliver.
Heck yeah! Oliver's dynamic movements work well with the precise movements of the Chinese martial arts.
It would have been perfect if he took the second one out with a single hit too. No, there is no problem. He immediately decided that the first hit hadn't knocked him out, so he moved into the second hit without hesitation. Those were perfect movements. An incredible concentration.
With the wandering dogs. Like I'd let a screw up of mine shame Zell.
Chef, you're my pride. Oliver looked embarrassed and fairly pleased with himself. Oh my god! Oh yes! On the inside, his heart must have been racing, wondering what would happen if he failed. He managed to put that aside completely, if only for a short period, and move accurately and calmly like a computer. Techniques to improve concentration probably suited him even better than kicking techniques. How was that, Shalan? And look at my badass boyfriend right here.
He's not your boyfriend yet.
That doesn't matter. He doesn't understand what I'm saying since I'm talking in Chinese. Eventually, the knockdown bodyguards began to come around. Then they shrugged with forced smiles.
That's one badass breath. That precision's definitely the boss's kick. I'm spellbound. So long they passed. This brat can do it.
Fine, I guess you're a good fighter.
Do you want to test us next? I don't need to test you, Hotarubi. I trust you. I'll test these two. For Xiaolong, there was a huge difference between people she trusted and people she didn't. That, in addition to her behavior, was very much like a cat. All right, perfect! So, how are you going to test us? Let's move. It won't be a task in such a bright place. Oui. It'll probably be pretty dark inside the restaurant after all. The lighting in Wong's restaurant was kept dim to play up its luxury appearance. It didn't matter much for Oliver's close-range fighting, but it'd be an important factor for the two who had distant targets. Those lanterns always reminded me of farolitos in Hispanic culture. It'd be no excuse if the lightning on the day of the plan was darker. Was darker than expected and made them screw up. In that dark restaurant, Wong was holding an open newspaper. On it was an introduction to the Wandering Cats, a songstress and her band from the alleys, who looked suspiciously like Hotarubi.
Oh, how heroic. A band of orphans from the alleys, huh? Oh yeah, they've been performing in the Small Rock region as well. A subordinate who heard them in person said she got quite the singing voice. Even a Hollywood director showering them with praise. Oh, nice. Doesn't the part about beautiful songstress catch your interest?
Yes, Luca, it will.
I like it. I can't get enough of stuff like this. They're in the middle of a boom right now, are they? Things like this are no fun unless you appreciate them while they're hot.
I thought you would say that, so I've already made arrangements.
Now that's my little May. Come here, let me rub your head, little May.
You don't need to do that, sir. Fine.
How considerate.
Not at all. In truth, I've been wanting to hear that singing voice myself. Wong had only received an order from the GDS told Zell's father. He had no interest in men, and of course he had never met Zell in a new relationship with her. Oh, he had never met her. Okay. So he doesn't know what Hotarubi looks like. That's good. It was only natural. Employed assassins are merely dangerous. He may use them, but he wouldn't willingly meet them directly. A wise man keeps away from danger, or whatever the proverb was. And so Wong himself gave permission for Zell and the others to enter his own castle.
That's right, little May. When do you think you'll be able to invite those wandering cats over?
That depends on how negotiations go. Is there a particular day you would prefer?
That's it. Wouldn't it be interesting if we did it the same day we invite Madame Rose over?
Oh?
This will be Japanese people, showing off their talents for Chinese money in a Chinese restaurant. Don't you think that's just perfectly fitting for the Japan that's coming soon?
You always think of such amusing things.
Explain to dreamer girls about reality in a way that's easy to understand. Don't you think that's the responsibility of their seniors in life? Yes, come to think of it. Aren't we about to the first week?
That's awkwardly worded.
Aren't we about to the first week, where the poison Hotarubi into Madame Rose will start to take effect?
Now that you mention it, you're right.
Let's have those kittens sing her a lullaby. To put Madame Rose quietly, gently to sleep.
My, just the sort of consideration I'd expect from you, honored brother.
You'll be there that day too, won't you?
Of course. I must witness the resolution of our bet.
Oh, I'm glad you remembered.
Apparition, you know about when is a good stopping point, right?
I doubt that night will leave either of us bored. So I'm counting on you to set it up. I can't wait.
Understood, honored brother.
Pardon me, boss. Madam Rose has contacted us about the timing of your meeting.
Do they understand that this will be the final meeting?
They do. Richard stated that he understood.
My. It certainly seems it will be an amusing night.
Oh, little May! Little May, do you have a second?
I wonder in Chinese if he's calling him Xiao Mei. Or Mei Er. It's either Xiao Mei or Mei Er, because one of the two, probably. Yes, honored brother. What is it?
How about that beautiful songstress everyone's talking about? It's totally Hotarubi, isn't it?
God damn it!
Can you get her to wear a China dress with a slit that really digs in?
You are a fucking pervert. Seriously, Zell is not that old. My god.
You really are fond of that, aren't you, honored brother?
Seriously, you're being a fucking creeper, dude. She barely looks 15, if even that. Oh wow, we've barely seen you this story arc.
I see. With the GDS, huh?
I'm really sorry. After all you've done with us. Yes, even like 16. Like 16 at the absolute oldest. Zell. Yeah. After all you've done with us.
Well, no helping it. If this is Primavera's decision. Distribution, huh? Scary.
Are they gonna like blow up the distribution trucks or something?
It really is the blood vessel of the country.
I think that's what they're planning to do, probably like blow up the distribution trucks. In June of this year, 1948, a massive incident occurred in which distribution threw the fate of the nation into chaos. The Soviet government blockaded West Berlin. They cut off all lines of distribution. In later years, this would be known as the Berlin Blockade. After Germany lost the war, it was split into East and West Germany. Even its former capital, Berlin, was split into East and West Berlin. We learned about that in school. That happened, like, it got back to being normal, just Berlin and no more East and West Germany when I was like 5 years old, so I do remember my parents talking about things like that. However, Berlin itself was located in East Germany. Because of that, West Berlin, which should have been part of West Germany, was isolated inside the territory of East Germany, making for a very strange situation. At first, it had been easy to pass through East Germany to bring supplies to West Berlin. However, the Soviet Union, which backed East Germany, was strengthening its opposition to America, England, and France, who backed West Germany. Everybody loves a good proxy war. Then, June 24th, 1948 finally came. A total blockade was set up along the land routes into West Berlin. It was a strategy to suffocate the city. It said that the Soviets hoped this would cause chaos among the people of West Berlin and lead to riots. And that as a result, it would lead to a rise of socialism that would end with West Berlin joining East Germany. Of course, the Western camp, including America, Britain, and France, didn't intend to sit around with their fingers in their mouths. And yet neither side wanted to spark off another war in Europe, which still hadn't healed from its wounds in the last war. At that point, the era of wars with guns and bombs ended, and the curtain opened on the era of wars via distribution. The food, medical supplies, fuel, and necessities West Berlin citizens would need were estimated at 4,500 tons. That was the amount they needed each day, unless those 4,500 tons were delivered each and every day until the Soviets removed the blockade. West Berlin would wither. To counter this, the Americans, British, and French focused on the one route that hadn't been sealed, the sky. They decided to engage in a massive, unprecedented air transport campaign over Berlin, involving hundreds of transport vehicles. In June 30th of the same year, American Secretary of State Marshall announced that he wouldn't abandon the people of Berlin. He announced that he would put the dignity of the Western powers on the line to protect the lifestyles of those in West Berlin. Wang Yu and Hong must have known about the Berlin blockade in great detail. That might have been his inspiration for his strategy against Primavera. No, maybe it was the other way around. Chinese merchants who resiliently sold to all sorts of countries had known this since long ago. Distribution forms the blood vessels of a nation. When it's cut off, the country dies. This war, with the new name of distribution, was being fiercely waged at this very moment in the skies above Germany.
Sorry I haven't been of much help. Still, I'll take responsibility for wiping my own ass.
Thank you very much, Captain. Forgive me for being a burden until the very end.
Forget about it. It's not like this'll kill you, Rose-chan. It's more like I should be welcoming you into our world. You said yourself earlier. Someone has to sit in the throne of the underworld. It mustn't be left empty. Those are good words. Someone have to do the dirty jobs. It's a lie that every occupation deserves esteem. Even politicians, public employees, police, troops, and tax officers don't get praised by everyone their whole lives. Still, because we're here, their lifestyles are protected. It's a dirty, pathetic job that never gets rewarded. And that's why Politicians and public employees are built to enjoy those benefits so much, at least in my opinion. Both you and us. And all the people in the world of the night are villains. No matter what they do or don't do, like get bundled together and labeled as villains. In that case, it's not so bad to play to the villain to the fullest, right?
That's what I intend to do. I'll play the wicked woman to the fullest. I just saw a musical about it, and it really gave me the idea.
Nice. You make my heart jump. I love wicked women. You better do what you like and get thoroughly hated. Even then, I'll love you more than anything in the world, Rose John.
Oh, Captain. I'd like to go forward until the bitter end. I didn't receive life so I could be afraid of people disliking me. Dang, you're a lot braver than me. I was born to bring about what I think is right. At night, the storehouse was lit only by a few bare light bulbs. Shadows were pitch black. So black that if you gazed at them, you'd start losing your sense of balance. This was just way too dark. Photon readings negative. Wong's restaurant was surely going to be lighter than this. Charles and Nina reached their appointed positions and heightened their concentration. The real thing starts once Oliver secures the treasure house.
And then we'll decide the match.
In front of Charles was the safe that had been on the table earlier. Charles put the key into the keyhole and tested its feel once again.
I'm ready whenever you are. Nina?
Bring it any time! Let's go! You've gotten really good with that new slingshot, huh? Let's see you beat the shooting gallery in Zelda. Leave it to me! By now it's a part of my body! Nina easily pulled back the new powerful slingshot band for show. By now, though, her upper arm was still just as thin. It seemed to have a wild resilience to it. Start the test whenever you like. Give us the signal! Nina would snipe a distant target in the dim light with a lot of force. And Charles would take a key he'd stolen and also in the dim light, threw it accurately to a certain spot behind him. Both of them had to perform those actions accurately, silently, and with movements small enough not to arouse suspicion. Okay then, we'll begin where Zal counts to 3. Everyone, I'm going to do a countdown. He does go 3, 2, 1, and then you'll start on 0. Get it? Start on 0. Okay.
We'll do it on the first try.
Are you ready too, Oliver? Oliver waved his hand in response. He alone was standing far from everyone else. That spot was Nina's sniping target. There, Oliver would measure whether Nina hit her target.
Bring it whenever you're ready. Don't screw up, you two.
Don't take us lightly. You aren't the only one who's been taking special training.
So, count it down.
Okay, here I go. 3, 2, 1. At that instant, Shalon held up her hand high as if signaling someone. As she did, a GDS man standing on alert suddenly flipped the electrical breaker. Immediately, the storehouse was covered in a completely lightless dark. At the same time, Zell yelled, "Zero!"
That's my cue. Let's go.
All right. Take a shot in the dark. You better know I can do it. Here we go! After a long silence, the man flipped the breaker back. The mirror light bulbs in the storehouse let out a faint light again. Charles and Nina were still frozen in the positions they'd ended their work in. It was as though the film had been torn. Oliver! Did it work? How did it look? Charles and Nina looked at Oliver. Shalon and the GDS men also looked at Oliver, waiting for his judgment. Eventually, Oliver grinned.
We wandering dogs are invincible.
How is it, Oliver?
You guys did it!
Woo!
Ha 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 ha! Hell yeah!
Oliver held up his hand, which grasped the projectile Nina had launched. It worked! Oh my god, he caught that in midair. Charles and Nina's concentration on special moves were no longer so frail they relied on vision alone.
Actually, it'd be even harder to do with your eyes open.
Don't underestimate us. How much do you think we're trained? We can make it. We can do it, you guys. Right now, the impossible has become possible. Believe in the you that believes in me. Shalon was stunned. There was probably no point in further testing the skills they gained in such a short time. How the fuck did they do that? How could they use these skills to defeat Wong's castle? Steal a key from the pocket of the cautious Wang Yu and Hong. To overcome the contraption that made the locks only openable when the clocks chimed. And to finish things during the short and uncertain length of time before Wang noticed that the keys was missing. Even if they used some sort of magic. And managed to rescue Zell's father, they wouldn't be able to leave alive once Wang noticed the key was gone. And then Butler comes in and says like,
There was definitely no magic! I know for sure.
At worst, he might notice the absence of the key within a minute, or even a few dozen seconds. However, it was a fact that to make this plan, they were betting their lives on succeed. They had trained and mastered their respective goals. By this point, there was nothing to do but watch and see how it unfolded. Xiaolong quickly communicated her surrender to Zell and disappeared. She still couldn't imagine the entirety of this plan. However, it was an inescapable fact that Meiju had approved it. Now there's nothing to do but trust them. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for doing so much. For such a ridiculous plan.
Even that ridiculousness isn't ridiculous now.
If it's based on carefully laid preparation and planning, it's inevitable.
In other words, I guess you could say it's certainty.
Right now we understand. I know how Wayne San felt just before the legendary night. We can have our own legendary night.
There's this strange exultation that makes us sure we won't fail. Let's do it! We'll rescue Zell's dad no matter what!
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll never forget this.
It's the other way around. We'll never forget what you've done for us. This only covers a bit of the interest on what we owe you.
Let's make this week! We're the strongest, the wandering dogs!
Yes! Tally ho!
Okay, you guys, here's a big scene change. I just have to quickly go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. All right. We are back. Sorry about that, you guys.
Good work. How was the captain?
Good. He told us to give it our all.
If he said that, then fine. It seems money is what matters in this world after all. Tomorrow. Time is almost upon us.
I'm feeling that the wandering dogs, their big thing is going to be almost at the same time. Like, it seems like Rose's big thing, what she's going to do that'll make everyone hate them, is going to be like, almost like a distraction to help out the wandering dogs in their mission to rescue her father. And we'll have like multiple climaxes happening at once almost. They have been invited to Wang Yun Hong's restaurant again. They were being asked to give their official answer to the ultimatum. Are they planning to like assassinate Wang Yun Hong or something? Jeez. This is the end of Primavera. Friend of the city folk.
Even so, we made the decision that we thought was best for our countrymen. I think both you and I should be proud of it. Even if no one understands. However, Yuji will probably understand one day. In the distant future when we're dead, I'm convinced that they will understand.
Yuji-kun's already 2, isn't he? Time goes by so quickly.
When you have children, you get surprised at the speed with which time passes.
Seriously, guys, it's absolutely freaky how aware of time you get when you have a kid growing up, like, in front of your eyes. Like, it just puts into a completely different perspective how you felt when you were growing up, how time was passing, and how fast it felt. I mean, how fast it feels now compared to how slow it felt when you were a child. It's incredible. Like, a day when you're a young kid feels like such a long time. Even an hour or 2 hours feels like an excruciatingly, like, a long time to play, or like to play a game or to read something, or but when you're an adult, like an hour, 2 hours, it's fucking nothing. It's crazy. And then you just see they're just growing up before your eyes, like doing more things, and it's like, it feels almost wrong. It feels like it shouldn't be. You know, it feels like you always think you have more time because all you have is your own perspective to judge by when growing up. But when you're growing up, you don't have anything to compare it to. It's very eye-opening, I will say. I made myself sad for no reason. Oh, God.
The several decades we live for are nothing but a single section of a baton relay.
When I think about baton relays, I start wanting to have a child myself someday.
Isn't that splendid?
I hope that she does get together with Leo, and their ancestor, I hope, is Julie. I mean, their descendant. Still, there's a lot of girls who hesitate to have kids. Completely understandable. Well, of course there are. Once you have kids, you can't play around anymore. That's absolutely true. He costs a lot of money too. That's also very true. And there's no guarantee you'll regain your good looks after giving birth. In fact, there's a lot of young people out there wondering if there's any point having kids in the first place.
From an economic perspective, giving birth is hardly an action to be recommended.
Oh wow, this is a very Japanese topic right here. Shinzo Abe is probably like looking, if he ever read this, which I seriously doubt, it's probably looking at this line right here and going, "Arr."
But still, if our generation pursues only pleasure for itself and passes declining birth rates onto the next generation,
And our country and our people will all be destroyed. Of course, if we disincentivize birth rates by having 6-hour work weeks and 10-hour work days, then that sucks too. Nobody will want to have kids because of that too.
I've thought about it while raising Yuji. Giving birth to children and raising them is a nation's, a people's responsibility.
Hey, Wayne-kun! Oh my god! Oh my god! Rose! Phrasing! Oh god. Do you want to have a baby? Wayne, who was holding the steering wheel, remained silent for a while before speaking.
If I have the confidence, I can raise him until they grow up.
He was an orphan. Oh wow. Oh, wow. I thought he would be like thinking that I thought they were gonna do like the joke where he thought that she wanted to have a baby with him and stuff like that. But no, they're just playing it straight. Wayne has grown up. He well understood the pain of kids without parents. Well, that is so sweet. Well, yeah, that's an absolute truth right there. So Wayne's views was apparently that you shouldn't have kids if you're unconfident that you can make them happy. That's definitely true. Yeah, Wayne, you're very responsible, you know? Wow. I think my opinion of Wayne just shot up considerably, and I didn't think badly of him before.
Certainly, but you'll be fine. I have a job where I put my life on the line all the time. Getting a brat would be too.
Wayne laughed, saying he wasn't interested in kids. But to Rose, it looked like he was sacrificing his right to raise kids for the sake of his ideals. Wayne caught on quickly.
Rose-san, please don't get the wrong idea. I'm just saying that I can't have a brat of my own. However, if the brats of my comrades are having a difficult life, then I'll do all I can to prevent them from feeling the hunger I felt.
Damn, wow, Wayne. You are such a good guy. It was something everyone knew. To this day, Wayne regularly gave charity to alleyway orphans. Wayne, who was still one of the leading members of Primavera despite being the youngest, had been given a considerable amount of money by now. However, he had shared nearly all of that with children in the same circumstances he had once been in. He is such a good person. They wanted to take legitimate jobs if at all possible, but many of them inevitably ended up falling into the dark side of society. I really do hope Wayne finds someone nice. His wild dogs group was also a plate for orphans like that to receive food from. You really are admirable. I can see why your kids respect you so much.
Huh. Respect is meaningless. If I could sell it for bread, I'd sell it away anytime.
God, Wayne is such a fucking Chad in this chapter. Jesus Christ.
Well said. If something happens to me, you should become consigliere and support the madam. I'll nominate you in my will. You're joking. That's not me.
No, it's not a joke. You really are incredible. I wish I could be like you too, Wayne-kun.
Rose-san.
I want to become a person who could sell the respect she has, so that the children of the future can buy bread.
If you must sell it, then I'll sell off mine first. And then before that happens, I'll break open a safe somewhere and grab a pile of bills.
Thanks, everyone. But I won't let you do anything like that. This can be resolved as long as I alone lick someone's shoes. I don't need respect. Oh. The thing they're gonna do is like bow down to... Are they gonna accept his deal? In some way. I wonder what they're gonna do. Like, it could be anything from like accepting his deal to like blowing up the distribution. I don't need respect. It's okay if I'm hated, despised by everyone. I'm unable to walk under the sun. After all, I'm a lady of the evening. God damn it. Ryukishi's literally fucking switching perspectives in the middle of a fucking paragraph right here. It was strange that she had been able to walk under the sun, getting thanked before now. Rose smiled. Richard and Wayne understood the grim resolve Rose had, so they couldn't speak up. I've put now and the future on a scale, and decided to choose the future. Oh, that's a very Lelouch thing. As compensation, I'll pay the now. After all, I promised him to go out and reach our destination despite it all. If only we had you in charge of, you know, oil and tech companies. After all, I promised him to God and reach our destination despite it all.
If only you were here now.
Oh wow, an update on Leo.
From what I've read in the papers, the fighting is apparently quite fierce. Here the independent faction is appealing to the United Nations, but I doubt the Victor Nation Club will let their colonies go.
I promised him. I promised that I would revive that good old homeland in this place. However, a year after making that promise, it's become impossible to fulfill. I mean, Rose, the best you can do is make sure your culture doesn't disappear. You know, keep it alive along with all the other cultures. Make it so you're respected as equals rather than the only one. Isn't that just as good? It's not about being the best, it's about being equals. And still being acknowledged. Then at the very least... Oh, it's her thought. Then at the very least, I need to pass what we have on, even at the cost of dirtying myself.
even if our countrymen throughout the city hate and despise you. He will. That old man will understand you no matter what. Of course, I understand too. We understand.
That was why Rose was able to choose the thorny path. Richard, who had thought of even marriage as an economic burden, realized for the first time how important it was to have a partner. And for the first time, he was understood it was impossible for a single person to change and guide the world. Yeah. After all, the individuals known as humans are so weak and lacking in bravery. No one can remain sane after having the whole world as their enemy. However, even if there's just one absolute ally who you can always trust will have faith in you, you can take on the whole world. It takes two people to create a universe. You can find the courage to do it. Starting tomorrow, I'll be a new Madame Rose. And Primavera will be a new Primavera. Is she gonna get like a black rose or something, maybe?
I am prepared.
I love how like symbolic this outfit is, and that how foreshadowy, in that the vine here on the rose, like it almost looks like a noose, a rope of a noose tied around her neck. That's very symbolic. And very interesting.
I am prepared. Me too.
And so am I! Richard Coon. There wasn't any trouble in preparing to hand over the special offers windows. Or was there?
Not at all. They're the great and might.
Oh, typo.
They're the great and mighty Director General did it grudgingly. On the inside, he probably doesn't want to hand the City 23 special offers windows over to the Chinese.
It must have been tough. Thanks for setting it up. And the Union?
No problems. I've applied a gag order to see that the information doesn't leak it for some time.
Thank you. That must have been tough too.
How so?
This is the path you... Oh, that's Rose. I mean Richard.
How so? This is the path you, we, and Primavera has decided upon.
Yeah. It's the path we decided on. They had already decided their answer to Wang Yu and Hong's ultimatum. Would they accept Wang's demand that they hand over the special offers windows and break up the Japanese labor union? Or not? If they refused, the fragile Japanese colony born in City 23 would be overwhelmed and crushed by a torrent of goods. As they'd already heard from Claudia's info, several big Japanese businessmen had already been nearly won over by the GDS. Merchants are clever. Their sense of who to bet on to make the most money almost amounts to foreknowledge. Insider trading. Overwhelming money and things. It was the same as that war. There was no chance of victory from the beginning. Primavera will submit to the GDS's demands, handing over the special offers of windows and disbanding the union of her countrymen. Wow. I wonder what's her long game with this. Diggity dang da dang. Chapter 6, Reckless Operations End. Chapter 7 is the last chapter of Arc 2 of Rose Guns Days. Really? Are they really gonna do it? We'll see. That would certainly make them hated by the people. I do wonder why she will think that's a good thing in the long run. That's really sad. The wandering dogs in Primavera. The fateful day for both groups had arrived. To Zell and the others, it was a day of a decisive battle. Their first and last chance to rescue Zell's father. To Primavera was the day to decide whether or not they would swear obedience to Wang Yu and Hong and the GDS. October 20th, 1948. A Wednesday. Alfred was like prologue. Mystery Theater. Oh, October 20th again. Damn. Huh. Really? Is it October 20th every single time? Wow. $1948, a Wednesday. The weather was oddly hot and humid for the season. There were signs that it would drizzle a bit in the evening, but in the end it didn't. For some strange reason, in the quiet right before typhoons and storms approach, one feels an unusual exultation, perhaps caused by changes in atmospheric pressure. This day was filled with such an unusual atmosphere. Chapter 7, Best Past to the Bright Future. (4:11 p.m.) A single taxi arrived at the back door of Wong's castle, the luxury restaurant Millennium. Immediately, several grim-faced men gathered around. Telling them not to park here. Bonjour. Thank you very much for inviting us here today. We're the Wandering Cats, and we received an invitation from Mr. Wong.
My, how rude of us. We've been waiting for you, and the owner has been too. Allow us to carry in your luggage. Hey, bring it in!
Hey, you don't have to be so rough. Those instruments in there. Don't open it.
I see, so they're checking to see if there's weapons hidden in there. Well, I guess they would.
Sounds like this song, it's the Persona song. This sounds like a theme that would play in a Persona game when you're walking around the city.
What are you people doing? Don't touch Zell with your filthy hands.
I love how protective he is. There's no helping it. It's an executive's restaurant after all. The grim-faced men carried a business-like body check of the four, without seeming to show any lewd motives. They also opened all the instrument cases, carefully making sure that only instruments were inside them. Oh, come on! Don't touch them! Those aren't for amateurs to touch! Their instruments were finally released. Nina growled like a dog when it had its toy away. Rah! Her behavior was so typical and relaxed in a way that Zell and the others giggled.
Please forgive us for being rough. There were no problems with your luggage. Okay, everyone. The owner of this restaurant, Wang Yuan Hong, eagerly decided to greet you. This way, please.
"4:18 p.m. The wandering dogs entered the Millennium. They were guided to the owner's room, which was near the 5th floor treasure vault. They knew it well from the plans of the building, but this was the first time they'd seen it from the inside. After all, building plans are flat. The real thing is three-dimensional. They couldn't help but be overwhelmed at the impact of the vast 5-story open area. For people who called themselves alley rats, it must have looked like a scene from another world. However, they didn't let that distract them from the moment. With razor-sharp eyes like those of a wild animal, cautiously tracking its prey from the shadows, they accurately pinned down the locations of their respective spots. Charles? That's got to be it.
The design's really similar to that safe. No doubt it.
Nina, can you see your spot? It's that pillar to the side of the stage. I know. It's better positioned than I'd imagined. Oliver, you understand, right?
Yes. Looks like I'm the luckiest.
Oliver had to gain control of the area in front of the 5th floor treasure vault. He'd memorized the route and the position of the guards on the way there. But the fact that he wouldn't see the place directly until the plan started was the one thing he'd worried about. But fortunately, that worry had been erased. Because they'd been fortunate enough to be allowed a meeting with Wong, who was in the owner's room on the 5th floor. Zell and the others unconsciously slowed their pace as they gazed in wonder at the restaurant's decorations. Or at least they pretended to. They were trying to give Oliver as much time as possible to check their surroundings. Oliver understood too. He made each step firmly as though etching his footprints into the ground. Normally they would have been taken up by elevator. However, Zell said she wanted to observe the beautiful interior, and they were given permission. So, think it'll work?
It's a good carpet. Nice and fluffy.
Yep.
Perfect for hiding your footsteps.
Will it get in the way of your footwork?
Not at all. Not unless the guard's wearing a suit of armor. But it's like Major Info said. They've casually placed lookouts on all the floors.
Of course, the cautious Wong had guards stationed on every floor. However, there were a minimal number of them, and their positions weren't ideally suited for being lookouts. After all, this was a restaurant aimed at executives. Having grin-faced men staring down at you from above wouldn't improve your meal. For that reason, there were very few guards, stationed in places where the guests wouldn't notice them. According to Major's info, The practical security of the restaurant was borne almost entirely by people on the first floor in the backyard. The lookouts on the upper floors were just put there as a precaution, and strictly ordered not to disturb the executive atmosphere by letting the guests see them. That may have been why the people working security on the second floor and up apparently thought of this as an easy job they could relax at. In other words, their guards were down, relatively speaking. Oliver confirmed that with his own eyes. The room that formed the entrance of the fifth floor treasure vault came into view. After seeing that, Charles and Nina voiced their awe at the scene stretched out below them, leaning over the rail and jumping about. Their guides laughed at the antics of these excited poor people. During this time, Zell and Oliver casually checked the entrance to the vault. There were 3 vaults, and their entrances were connected by this small room. And the door on the left. Behind that door was where Zell's father was being confined. I can't believe they're keeping him in a literal vault. That's just crazy. And there was always one guard in front of that door. Even by following the optimum route, making the best use of all the blind spots, this one person would have to be defeated head on. I don't know what he's saying. Their eyes met immediately, and the guard motioned for them to stay away. Oh, he said, "Thank you, Guppy Forrest?" He said,
Dear guests, entry to this area is prohibited.
surely Wong thought this was the most important room in the building. Being left in charge of guarding such a room must leave a guard pretty tense. Oh, it's totally no problem, Guppy Force. Thank you so much for doing this to help out. Seriously. All my moderators, Apparition, Guppy Force, thank you guys so much for being here. Seriously. You two are amazing. Thank you. I don't thank my moderators enough, and I hate that. So I'm gonna just take this opportunity right now. You guys are awesome. And that goes for all of you. Oe and Ji-chan too. I hope they're having some good rest right now. At the very least, there wasn't any trace of slack about him. He'll be tough.
And he looks capable too. If I don't finish him off with a single strike, we're screwed.
Still, you'll definitely be able to make the first move.
No doubt there. The time between when he saw us and when he reacted was more than enough for a first strike.
This was a restaurant after all, at least to public appearances. This place where third parties, i.e. guests, came and went. There had to be some chance of Wong happily showing his favorite guests around his restaurant. Only to have one get lost and wander near the treasure vault. After all, this was an executive establishment. All of the guests had influence and strong connections to the GDS or Chinese military. The guards couldn't start yelling at someone just because they seemed suspicious. Even when the guard had met Oliver's gaze just now, he had hesitated for an instant, wondering if this suspicious person might be the son of a noble guest. Oh wow, Oliver, you carry yourself well. We can make it, can't we?
Yes, we can do it.
I love how they support each other. Just wait, father. Zell whispered inside her heart that they were separated by a single troublesome door. Zell had finally gotten very close to her father. Her father is behind that door. When they passed the treasure vaults, the door to the owner's room came into view. Its gorgeous Chinese-like build made it clear that this was the room of the owner of this castle.
Owner, the wandering cats have arrived.
And then finally Zell and the others faced Wang Yuanhong. The owner's room itself had a high-class feel, but it was surprisingly simple and practical. People who knew him might be surprised that such an audacious lover of luxury and flair would install such a simple room in his castle tower. However, those who knew him better could understand. When he was joking around and enjoying himself with flair, he was a completely different person than when he was being the merchant, who coolly read the market and amassed great wealth through many business dealings. The sudden way he switched between on and off was the source of Wang's fearsomeness and mysteriousness. Honored brother, allow me to introduce you. This is the songstress of the Wandering Cats, Miss Cat Rose. Mr. Wang, it is truly an honor to be invited here today.
I read about you responding to the interview in fluent Chinese. That really is incredible. Bravo! But you know, I can speak Japanese like this. Incredible, isn't it? I could even say hello. Ohio, Ohio. Damn. That's incredibly smooth Japanese.
Seriously? I'm definitely learning Chinese if we get back alive. Although those tones are a bitch and a half. Can't get by in this world if you only speak Japanese. However, Charles didn't make a fuss, but silently gazed at Wang's every movement. The key in question's in that pocket.
I'll steal the key that he always keeps on his body. If he finds out, it's all over.
In the end, will there even be a chance to steal it? A slackening in his focus? What do you think?
Don't know. If this were a crowd and I didn't get whose wallet I stole, then I'd normally remove this guy from the list of targets.
Apparently, Charles's instincts had already told him that Wang would be a tough person to deal with. Seems Xiaolan's warnings were right after all. A clumsy pickpocket attempt would be spotted in an instant.
The paper said your singing voice was the voice of an angel. I'm really looking forward to hearing that today.
You honor me, Mr. Wang. I'll try to sing with all my heart and soul.
Ah, yes. Your name was Cat Rose, wasn't it? What does it mean?
Well, I love cats. And I love roses. We're orphans who grew up in the alleys. We think of ourselves as wild cats. Cats, be they strays or pets, never forget their pride and grace.
I see, I get the cat part. And why, Rose?
He knew the wandering cats were Japanese. Their songstress was calling herself Cat Rose. Wong was probably wondering if she took the name out of respect for Madame Rose of Primavera. I wanted to be like a cat that never loses its grace, even if it's wild. And I wanted to be like a rose, which never forgets its thorns, even if they're blossoming lovely flowers, as that makes the heart melt. I was just about to say that, Zarmagus. I was waiting for an opportunity. It just hit me. Zell is literally actually being Hannah Montana right now. And I can't believe it! That's why I decided to call myself Cat Rose.
Ah, okay. So it's got nothing to do with Madame Rose of Primavera.
No, I do not know her at all. I mean, I know Madame Rose's name. It's humbling to have the same name, even if it's a coincidence.
Oh, it's okay, don't mind me. I was just asking on a whim, so forget about it. Well, the truth is that today I'm welcoming a very, very important guest. And that guest is actually, Madame Rose of Primavera.
Is that true? I didn't know that. She was lying through her teeth, but it was half true. After all, she hadn't learned until this morning that the day they'd planned to rescue her father would be the day of the meeting between Madame Rose and Wong. While it did make them feel somewhat tense, the guest list didn't matter as far as the wandering dog's plan was concerned. All that remained was an uneasy feeling that any mistakes they made might get Madame Rose involved as well. For her father's sake, not only was she getting her comrades involved, but now even Madame Rose. However, she wasn't allowed to get nervous. A tightrope walk 100 meters off the ground and only become a tightrope walk 200 meters above the ground. No problem. As she ignored Wong's pointless talking, Zell clenched her fists. The guest with reservations for dinner tonight would start arriving at 6. For the next 3 hours or so, the wandering cats would be in charge of running the stage. Madame Rose was supposed to arrive at the restaurant at 6:45. She would probably be welcomed in right when the performance was getting fired up, during the very best part. But Zell was a little happy. Madame Rose had done a lot to help with Zell's singing lessons, and now Zell had a chance to directly show off her results.
Honored brother. It's about time for them to start getting ready. Oh, that's right. You probably have to prepare your instruments and all that. Ah, yes. Please look forward to using our grand piano. We get it tuned every month, and we have a piano storage room maintained at the perfect humidity. Please guide the wandering cats to the waiting room. Very well, sir. Everyone, I look forward to a wonderful instrumental and singing performance from you.
When they bowed and turned around, Wong suddenly spoke up sharply. Everyone reflexively jumped and stopped.
You there. No, the short kid. Yes, you.
Oh, crap. Charles was the one who called to a halt. With an expression like a pigeon hit by a pea shooter, Charles slowly turned around.
Did you drop something? There. Isn't that something you dropped?
Drop something? Oh god, is it the key? Huh?
You mean this on it, brother? Yes, that.
Meiju crouched down and picked up the thing that had fallen at Charles's feet. Oh. Woo! It was a tiny ball of lint, hardly worth commenting on. Such a pointless speck of trash that it could easily be explained as a bunch of lint or something that had been gathered up in a pocket.
It's just trash. We'll make sure this place is thoroughly cleaned. Oh, so it's just trash. Sorry about that. I thought it'd be sad if the poor boy dropped something important. I see, so it was just trash. Sorry to surprise you. My eyes are starting to go bad. But seriously, if you try to fuck me over, I will skin you alive.
Thanks. Charles bowed and left the room. However, after being guided to the elevator, Charles's face was stiff with tension. So it's even worse than Xiaolan said.
Yeah, he's seriously bad news.
The lint was something Charles had dropped on purpose. Oh, I see. Wow, that's awesome. Charles had noticed that he was pretty dangerous at first glance, so he had dropped the lint to confirm that his instincts were right. Wong had found it on the spot. Caution, observation, instincts are probably a sixth sense. An animal's nose that wasn't quite at any of these things. He had noticed something out of place about the lint right away.
Even if I did swipe the key from him, he'd notice it was gone right away without even a few seconds of hesitation. He'd understand that it had been stolen immediately, without any doubt that it might be his imagination or a mistake.
So, he's the worst and ultimate enemy of pickpockets. You could say he is the Dark Souls of pickpocketing.
Can you really steal the key from a monster like that?
That's what we went through all that special training for. We're already right in the middle of enemy territory. We gotta do it! I believe in you, Charles.
I'll get it done. I'm up first. Okay. No pressure. No pressure at all.
5:13 p.m. The performers started getting ready on stage in the first floor restaurant. As they checked their instruments and the sound, they calmed themselves down. For people as young as they were, this time spent holding their breaths in enemy territory was probably the most tense of all. At this point in time, the wandering dogs didn't even have guns, or even need a slingshot. They couldn't bring them in because of the body check. It was Xiaolan's job to get them those. "5:48 p.m. Xiaolan arrives at the guest waiting room where the wandering dogs are. She hands over 3 guns and a slingshot. Damn. Thanks, Xiaolan.
Major Sama is the one you should be thanking.
At first, it looked as though Xiaolan, a member of the GDS, just carried the weapons in because she didn't need to take the body check. But that wasn't all there was to it. Wong forced outsiders to undergo a thorough body check, even if they were members of the GDS. In other words, Xiaolan had come here via a method that avoided the body check.
Xiaolan, your nimbleness is your greatest weapon, isn't it? I'm small after all.
With her natural nimbleness, Xiaolan could scramble up anything and reach anywhere like a monkey. That was the only survival technique she'd gained after living as an alley rat. Luca, that is exactly what I was thinking of. That one quest in Skyrim, yep. Pickpocketing, purse snatching, burglary. In traffic, out of reach of the law, she would surely be caught and beaten to death without trial for any crime. By mastering the art of escaping to places that adults could never reach. The small, nimble girl had built an athletic ability that surpassed those of normal people. To her, this complicated and mysterious concrete jungle was practically a jungle gym, where she could move about in 3 dimensions however she pleased. She is basically fucking Spider-Man. Even to get here, she hadn't used the first floor entrance, but had climbed to the roof from the outer wall, sliding through a narrow duct. It was a skill no one but she could imitate.
You all understand, right?
We only take these guns out at the last moment. In the big finale. They all nodded wordlessly. This was a trump card, not supposed to be used. However, they didn't know what would happen. It was better to have more options.
Okay, I'm going... Oh, that was Xiaolan. Okay, I'm going on to my next job. Tell me how it turns out.
Thank you so much, Xiaolan.
Without your help, this plan would have been impossible. Impossible. You can thank me once you succeeded. Then I'll take this many mooncakes.
Xiaolan used both hands to indicate something the size of a mountain. Then she slipped back into the duct and disappeared. Xiaolan Shan was an alley rat like us, right?
That's what I've heard. I think she's been through a lot.
Hello, Jess. Welcome to the stream.
It's strange. Even though we're pulling off a big job in a GDS hideout, we're being helped by a Chinese girl.
I don't think it matters. Yeah, for all we know, she might have been one of our comrades.
True. She fits through different trash cans than we did. That might be the only difference.
Thank you, everyone. I'm so glad I met you with the wild dogs. I'll be a wandering dog all my life. No matter what. Even if I die. Don't say that! Without a signal from any of them, they held their hands out and stacked them on top of each other. The clock was almost pointing to 6 and the Umineko music was blaring. So the curtain finally opens on the stage for the wandering cats. And it also opens on the once-in-a-lifetime job for the wandering dogs. "6:31 p.m. The front entrance to the Millennium, Madame Rose's car, driven by Wayne, arrived. Long had invited Richard and Cyrus too, but Madame Rose had answered that she alone would be present. In fact, she had only come with one person, Wayne, her driver/guard. While he was certainly an excellent guard, coming to Wong's castle, it was no different than coming unarmed. When he heard about this, Wong felt respect for her. He swore to himself that he'd give this courageous Japanese woman a splendid welcome, regardless of what her answer was. And Wong had received some information that Madame Rose was beginning to make preparations with the higher-ups in the occupying forces regarding the handover of Special Offers windows. To be honest, he'd been truly surprised that Madame Rose had made such a courageous decision. After all, he expected not her, but Richard to make this decision after her death. However, it may not be bad if the heroine died from disease while expressing her friendship for the GDS. If he could quickly deify Madame Rose after her death, and the Japanese, with their weakness for Naniwabushi tales of loyalty and humanity, would probably respect her final wishes. That could be used to draw a decent picture. In that case, you must appreciate her final decision and watch over her in a lovely way during her last moments. He had to make this evening a fitting one for her final night. Oh, God.
Such a pleasure to see you, Madame Rose. Welcome to my lair, my millennium tonight.
I thank you for your invitation, Mr. Wong. I hope this turns out to be a special night.
Of course. It will be special. I would be delighted if you could appreciate it to the fullest. Good evening, Madame Rose. Welcome to the Millennium.
Good evening, Meiji-san. We'll be in your care.
So, come in, madam, this way. I promise that this limited time you've graced us with will shine more beautifully than diamonds. Shine bright like a diamond.
Now that's a late evening for you, thought Wang amazedly, even though she must know how important this night would be. Not only was she not tense, but she was able to smile cheerfully. An impressive woman. Apparently the title Madam wasn't just for show.
Incredible that you would actually come in with just the two of you. Is that not just a bit too incautious?
It depends on how far we get, Jess.
We needed 7 people for Caleb, but 2's enough for you.
Damn. Well, he's egging him on. Jeez.
Oh, you are as amusing as always, I see.
"6:33 p.m. Madame Rose enters the Millennium. She was welcomed by Wong's favorite, gorgeous collection of clocks. Favorite gorgeous collection, I mean. Each clock was splendidly ornamented, but very unique, with no 2 clocks of the same design. And yet all the clocks showed the exact same time. One couldn't help but feel the strangeness of time and the variety of beauty.
You see, when I was young, I treasured time even more than I do now.
Time certainly is precious. For women too, the fact that the time they remain beautiful is limited. Never seems to leave their mind.
True, youth is limited. There is only a set amount of time during which you can make your dreams come true, and that time is decreasing this very moment. It's fair to call this an obsession. That's why I was extremely short-tempered when I was young. When something didn't go my way, I didn't hesitate at all. I tried to resolve it by going the shortest distance in the shortest time. Even my honored brother, a man of character, has a whole stack of short-tempered stories from his younger days. Almost like Wayne's son. Oh.
Shut up, Chinese person.
Jeez, Wayne, wow. No need to bring that into it. Fucking hell, Wayne, jeez. It's not always the case that traveling is the shortest distance lead to resolution in the shortest amount of time.
Yes, that's exactly right. After many years, I'd finally come to understand that. That's why we stand where we stand today. We stand here today because I freely poured my precious time into the resolution of our problems. I believe I poured in everything I have to make sure this night will come true. So there's no more.
Oh, come on. Sorry, the cat in the background. Of course. I understand, Mr. Wong. Primavera and the GDS. Our countries may be different, but our desire to protect our countrymen is the same. We ought not to fight. We must put an end to this feud right away.
You're a woman whose wisdom far exceeds my expectations. I believe I must be ashamed for not realizing that sooner.
We're both residents of the criminal underworld. We follow our own moral codes, and I believe doing so is the justice we both believe in.
Yes, you have it exactly right, Madame Rose. We shouldn't fight. There should be mutual non-interference based on friendship and respect for each other. That would be best.
Friendship and respect and awe, yes?
That's right. After all, respect is something you feel only after understanding how scary the other person can be. Honored brother. Could this all wait until after we had our drinks? Honored brother, could all this wait until after we've had our drinks? Oh, you're right. Come, Madam Rose, come on in!
The main hall was filled with beautiful singing and musical instruments. I'm so sorry you guys had to go to take a little bathroom break one more time. At least you're left with much better music. I'll be right back.
All right, we are back. Sorry about that. The main hall was filled with beautiful singing and musical instruments. However, it would be hard to call these talents refined to perfection. It certainly was splendid, but because of their youth, you could sense some parts that could still use polishing. However, to the executives who were thoroughly acquainted with first-class music and nearly had their fill with it, this usefulness was refreshing. You think we're making good time? Okay, that's cool, apparition. Each time a song ended, the guests awarded it with an applause that was soft, but warm and fully felt. Madame Rose was guided into the main hall during one such round of applause.
Madam and the others are here.
This is for that major meeting that could end in war if it goes bad.
So if we screw up, it might even start a feud between Primavera and the GDS.
We won't screw up. We are perfect. We'll definitely succeed. Beautifully so. Zan will perfectly complete all of our performances and leave this restaurant showered in applause.
Yes. We can do it. We can do it. I wonder if Aniki Wayne knows about our plan.
He probably does. That's why this is a great chance to show Vincent what we can do. Wait, son. Watch and see what we can do.
Oh? Do you know the Wandering Cats, Wayne-san? No, I don't. I was just admiring the singing.
Of course, this was a farce. Wayne made you and even Rose who knew they were and about the plan. Okay, I just wanted to be clear on that everybody knew about the plan. Only Wong didn't know. He seemed to be happy to have invited Rose into his castle again. Scrupulously prepared plans sometimes turn their targets into the main characters of a comedy. Because Rose and the others had arrived a little early, they're still 10 minutes before the clocks point to 7. I wonder when they're actually going to go and get to the heist. Normally, they would have a toast right away, but because of the device on Wong's treasured drink cabinet, they had to wait for a short while. Oh, that's right, they have to wait until he opens the thing with the key. Rose and the others quietly took their seats and enjoyed the performance on stage. The next song would apparently be a solo by Zal. With the spotlight shining down at her, she slowly came down off the stage. I came in with the wrecking ball. Da do da do 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 da do. I don't know how the song goes. Then, displaying her angelic singing voice, she slowly walked amongst the guests singing. Wow. To the guests, the stage was a sacred realm, and if the songstress was an angel, it was heaven, a place sealed off from this world. Now the angel had come down from such a place and was drifting among them. Her long, pretty hair was even more beautiful than when it sparkled under the spotlight. She truly was an angel on this earth. An angel so close you could reach her if you stretched out your hand. However, the executives didn't stretch out their hands. If a worldly person touched an angel, she would be dirtied. Even though they were close enough to touch, they couldn't. As they were wrapped in a fragility that was like a personification of snow, Zal looked more and more divine to them, heightening their drunkenness to a peak.
This was a performance by Zell alone, so the other three went back to the waiting room to take a break and get ready. If 4 of them spent all their time on stage, their endurance would wear out. So they were leaving people out now and then so they could take breaks in turn. This wasn't at all odd for performances on a stage such as this one. At that time, Oliver was already heading toward the 5th floor treasure vault along with the predetermined route. Woo! Clock will chime 7 very soon now. A keyhole, and time. They needed all 3 of these together. The elevator always had a bellboy/guard standing in front of it, so he couldn't use that. By taking this route at this time, he's supposed to be able to avoid bumping into any of the lookouts. Even so, that wasn't certain. The lookouts could create all sorts of exceptions on a whim. At times like this, walking boldly was the best way to avoid suspicion. To walk as though it was perfectly normal for you to be here right now. However, he still walked very quietly, hiding his footsteps. Oliver thought he had probably been so short-tempered because he was easily frightened. Because he was easily frightened, he couldn't bear the fear in front of him for even a second. That's why he had surrendered his heart to anger.
Being quick to pick fights isn't cool. Yes, that's something a cowardly fool does. Cowards tense up and stiffen their muscles. In other words, they can't draw out their full potential. There's no medicine to cure idiocy, but cowardice is different. The medicine is confidence.
Uh-oh. There was a lookout in a place where there wasn't supposed to be one. He wasn't supposed to be here. He should have been behind that pillar further back. He'd probably been lured forward unconsciously by Zell's singing. His gaze appeared fixed on the stage below. Oh, that's good. Oliver didn't want to get into a fight in a place like this. He had more than enough confidence in a one-hit knockout. Even so, the odds of that working weren't 100%. This wasn't the place to test his luck. In that case, he'd have to quietly pass behind the man's back. At a glance, the man seemed fixated on Zell below him. However, that didn't mean his heart had been fully absorbed. If he noticed the faintest thing out of place, his sharpness as a guard would return in an instant. Something out of place. Yes, footsteps. If he felt footsteps that seemed scared or suspicious, he'd notice something off and then turn around immediately. However, if they were truly casual, normal-sounding footsteps, it was possible that he'd unconsciously decide they belonged to an ally and ignore them. If Oliver thought about it, weren't stray alley cats an extreme example of this? When people pass by without taking notice of those cats, they remain calm, without showing the slightest interest. However, if anyone notices the cat and changes how they walk in the slightest, the cat will notice at once and run away.
That sort of pissed me off, so whenever I saw a stray cat, I'd intentionally yell at it or kick a can at it.
Oh, that's mean.
If it were going to hate me and run away anyway, I'd rather start off by chasing it first. How dumb am I? Yes, right now I'm a wandering dog, but I'm not a dog. I'm a wandering cat. Hide your breathing like a cat, and smoothly walk away like a cat. Time for stealth. Stealth mission.
The man muttered something, but he was clearly talking to himself. He was probably just impressed with Zell singing. Oh, and that's what he... Thank you, Guppy Force. That's what he is saying.
Well with... What beautiful singing. Well worth the pay.
Zell's beautiful voice rang out. It was without a doubt the best she'd ever sung until now. Because of that, the man was rooted in place. Because of that, the man was rooting in place. His back was even more unguarded than usual. The man let out an appreciative sigh at the beautiful singing voice and shrugged. He glanced left and right to see if anyone had noticed him slacking off. It's okay. Oh, and what he said before, thank you, Guppy Force, was,
I wish you would sing just for me, even just once.
it's okay. There's no one there. Reluctantly, he returned to his position. By that time, Oliver was already going up the stairs, heading towards the 5th floor.
Good.
The 5th floor probably had more guards in it when Wong was in the owner's room. However, Wong was downstairs right now. All right! Oliver passed the stealth check. Thank God. There should be one lookout. Just look out in front of the treasure vault.
When I go around that corner, I'll be there.
He clenched his fists. They were covered in sweat. He used the breathing techniques he'd learned from Meiji to ready himself. Unlike a street fight, there was no need for reckless courage. He had to strike the vital points cold-bloodedly and accurately as a reptile. Oh, I'm so sorry, T. Good night. I'm sorry, T. I don't know how much we have left, Apparition, but we should be done fairly, like, within a half hour, I would imagine. For tonight, I mean. He stopped breathing. A sensation spread out widely inside his eyes. The world expanded and he felt pressure on his eyeballs.
Let's go, Oliver. If you really want to repay the debt you owe Zell, then at least succeed in this first step.
Oh my god! Time for a fight. Knock him out. Oh my god.
KO, yes! Plan, all according to Keikaku. Oh, thank God.
His flexibly extended leg beautifully honed in on the man's head. He could see in slow motion as the man's face and expression were twisted as he spat bubbles. At that time, applause rang through the main hall. The man slumped over and showed no signs of getting up. It was as though the applause was in honor of the splendid one-move victory.
I did it! I did it, damn it!
If he had been truly cold-blooded, he should probably finish off the unconscious man, silencing him forever. However, Meiji would ask them to avoid taking the lives of his countrymen as much as possible. Even if he hadn't, it wasn't in Oliver's character to finish off a man who was now powerless.
Sorry about that. Sit tight for a while. This is a sneaking mission.
He turned the man over and bound his hands behind him with a black market U.S. Army duct tape he'd brought with him. Of course, he also wrapped it around the man's mouth. With that, the entrance to the treasure room was secured. It was perfect. Alright. Route secured. Oliver has completed his first job.
So now the door is ours. Now we just need the key. And time. Charles, looks like it's all up to you.
They had to steal the key from the cautious Wong and unlock the door during the short time the clocks were chiming. At that moment, a noisy, complicated metallic chorus rang out through the restaurant. It was the chime for 7 o'clock. I think we're a bit early, Apparition, so we're actually making very good time. I thought it'd be longer to the halfway point, so I do want to get as much done as I can, so we'll go when the next scene changes. It was only possible to open this door during that chiming. However, he still didn't have the key! Still in Wong's pocket! Before the chiming stopped, they had to get the key and put it into the keyhole of the door Oliver had secured. That is not that much time. It was absolutely impossible. There was no way they could accomplish it. For that impossibility was out to become possible. The key was in Wong's pocket. His hand went inside and was pulling the key out this very moment. Why? So he could let Rose choose a drink from his prized treasure box cabinet with a special device in it? Go until the end of the plan. Thank you, Guppy Force. That key was pushed into the keyhole. Then slowly it was opened.
Come, Madam Rose. What shall we try today?
There really are so many kinds. It's hard to choose. Now this sounds like a track from Danganronpa V3. With the key still in the keyhole, the doors were open wide. Zell walked in among the seats, communicating with the guests. Yeah, I think to the end of the plan would probably be a good place to stop, given the title of the video. They knew she was a Japanese songstress, but they were surprised and impressed by her fluent Chinese. Zell's and Wong's eyes met for an instant. Wong's eyes were unconsciously fixed on this girl, but a charm that would have been unthinkable for the girl he had greeted in the owner's room. Since ancient times, songs were thought to possess a strange power. Surely that magical power also dwelt within the songstress who sang these songs. Because she had reached that level, she was able to draw the gazes of all the people in the restaurant. That mysterious attraction took hold of even Wong's eyes and didn't let go. Rose picked up a bottle and was inspecting it. It's totally Artanelico, Guppy Force. Rose's body formed a barrier, and the key left in the keyhole of the still open door was in a blind spot. In that instant, Charles didn't miss that Wong's concentration had been stolen by Zell. The complex and mysterious metallic course of chimes continued. At this moment, everyone's minds were distracted. This was the perfect moment.
Let's go, Nina. Are you ready?
When he turned around, Charles jumped. Or were positioned in the shadows of the pillar. Nina shook her head and so saying, "Not yet." Oh, come on! What was it? Figured out at once. A fickle waiter had been overwhelmed by Zel's charm, standing still in front of the pillar. Oh, fucking hell! Oh, come on! He was too close to Nina. She couldn't do her job like this. It was the only place where they couldn't afford for people to be. Ugh. Charles and Nina were already hiding their presence and melting into the shadows. They showed themselves to move the bellboy out of the way. They'll draw someone's eyes. This perfect chance would be wasted. Should they wait for the waiter to leave? They couldn't. The chorus of chiming clocks would last for a minute at most. Once the chiming stopped, they wouldn't have any more chances. They would never get another chance where Wong removed the key from his pocket, carelessly left it in the keyhole, and let a guest into that position. Looking down from the 5th floor, Oliver picked on the tension as well.
Damn it. What's wrong with that waiter? Go away!
Go on. Go away, you blockhead! No matter how much she yelled inside her head, it wouldn't reach him. The waiter just stood in that most inconvenient spot holding a tray.
Zel, what should we do?
Zel had also noticed. No one could do anything but the waiter standing in an unexpected fatal position. If he had been a guest, Zel could at least interact with him somehow, maybe by calling out. However, this was a waiter. It would be unnatural for the songsters to call to a person who wasn't a guest. They were short-handed. They were missing one more move. Time. Their precious time and opportunities were running out. That moment, a jarring metallic sound rang out. Sound of a knife and fork falling to the floor. Wayne's elbow had bumped them and knocked them off. Yay! Oh, did you wait with the save? It wouldn't do to make a guest pick them up. The waiter noticed immediately and dashed forward. Woo! With that, the obstacle disappeared.
Oh, are you not good at using a knife and fork, Wayne-san?
Shut up! Then why don't you eat with chopsticks like normal Chinese people?
I mean, don't Japanese people also eat with chopsticks? There was no doubt. Wayne had lent a helping hand. He had rejected Zel and said she was no longer one of his comrades, but he had saved her. Wayne's feelings were felt by everyone. And in that moment, all obstacles had vanished. Let's go! Wandering dogs, Alan Z! Charles, please do it.
Here I go!
Charles walked casually with a violin in his hand. As we continued to aim for the key, which is the only keyhole at the drink cabinet's door. Madame Rose also knew the plan and intentionally stalled for time, blocking the view with her body. It took her for a while to choose the bottle, so Juan got bored and ogled Zal's legs. Ugh, yuck. This moment when the key was left carelessly in the keyhole was their only chance. Alright, it's now or nothing! Time to use my expert rogue skills! Ah!
Cowboy Bebop theme. Can't be beat.
One hand was blocked by the violin, the other hand was holding the bow. With a truly casual and subtle movement, Charles smoothly pulled the key from the keyhole. Then without turning around, he threw it behind him. Here I go! It flew accurately towards the shadow of the pillar where Nina was waiting.
Nina, it's all you.
Leave it to me. Let's do it! Nina took the key and put it in her slingshot. And she aimed up into the dimly lit up open area above her. Ah! It's now or never! Come on! Oliver! The gold key flew like a shooting star through the dark night and into the hands of Oliver, who was leaning out of the overhanging corridor on the 5th floor. The course of clocks was still continuing, however it would end soon. Yeah, these are long-ass clocks. The clocks with shorter times were finishing one after another. Oliver, we're counting on you!
Perfect. Leave the rest to me. I will not fail Zell.
Oliver dashed up the door of the treasure vault. Chimes were ending! He had no time! Put the key to the hole and turned. He clearly felt the door unlocking. There was no doubt. Immediately after, he heard a round of applause for the chorus of clocks coming from the main hall.
We did it. We made it in time.
He opened the door and jammed his jacket into the gap. The door had an auto lock. If he did this, there was nothing to worry about. Right now, before attempting a rescue, he had to return to the key to its original position. Man, it's a good thing there's no way that, like, it's not like later in the future and, like, Wong would probably be, like, having security cameras or, like, being notified electronically that this was opening. Oliver leaned out from the overhanging corridor again and threw the key towards Nina. The heavy key was being thrown down from 5 stories up. Catching it would be fairly dangerous. However, it's one thing they'd already mastered. Just another team technique that the three had created to survive during the days they lived in the alleys. Yeah, nice!
It's up to you now.
After seeing that Nina had safely caught it, Oliver dashed back to the door of the treasure vault. Nina took the key she'd caught, casually approached Charles, and handed it over. He doesn't have to reverse pickpocket because he got it from, because it was locked in, because it was inside the cabinet. Charles put it back into the drink cabinet's keyhole. Woo! He turned it back to the perfect angle without shaking anything or making any noise. Mission accomplished! During that time, Oliver finally entered the room where Zell's father was being held. I hope he's actually there. And he's not waiting for a gunshot in his face. That was called a treasure vault. That's practically speaking a jail cell. Except given that it had originally been a treasure vault, it was a bit more comfortable than your average jail cell. Oh good, thank God he's there. I was thinking like, you know, like surprise, he had like planned for their heist the entire time or some shit. A man was apparently Zell's father was sitting in his study desk reading a book. He appeared to be confused, having noticed that Oliver didn't seem to be a member of the GDS.
Who on earth are you? Are you Zell's, no, Saijo Hotaru's father? Yes, that's why I'm being held here. Let's confirm that you're really him. What's your wife's name? Yukino.
Oh wow, they planned. They're actually being fucking smart. Oliver asked several questions that only family could know, which he talked with Zell about earlier. Damn. The father gave correct answers to all of them. There was no doubt. This was Saijo Ryukishi himself.
Who in the world are you? My name's Oliver, your future son. In-law, obviously. I mean, a friend of your daughter. A good friend. I'm here to rescue you. Never mind what I just said. I'm one of your daughter's comrades.
As Oliver answered, he dragged the brown guard inside. The door had an auto lock. If he stood at the guard in here, and even if the man woke up, he probably wouldn't be able to do anything for a while. Smart. When the father saw this, he understood right away.
Can you escape from here? What about Hotaru? Where's my daughter? She's close. This was her final chance to save you. Hotaru, even though I told you to abandon me and run, I was still unable to stop clinging to your parents.
Hello, Princess of Balance. Welcome to the stream. Though they'd managed to escape from the treasure vault, this was the enemy's den. There was no guarantee they'd be safe. How could they escape from this building? Even if they could, they were right in the middle of City 22, a massive Chinatown. Zell's father didn't know what sort of strategy had taken them this far, It seemed far too reckless to him.
Follow me. I'll guide you to a place you can escape from.
But at that moment he heard an angelic voice.
Your daughter is singing. That song will distract the enemies and give us a chance to save you. That's not all. The planning and preparing for this plan was all carried out by your daughter alone. She is amazing and badass and beautiful and cute and, in a friendly way.
Until he'd been told, he hadn't known it was his daughter's voice. That voice sounded like an adult who had tasted the bitter and sweet of this world. He wanted his daughter to abandon him and live free on her own. Any parent with children would think the same thing. I love this song. This is one of my favorite BGM from all of Rose Gun days. His daughter had refused. Because she was still clinging to her parents? No. This was a decision Zell had made from the bottom of her soul. She would bet her life and rescue her father. Not as a girl clinging to parents, but as a single human being.
Hotaru.
Right now, his beloved daughter was bathed in a spotlight and singing in the middle of enemy territory. That courage, those guts, that mature singing voice were no longer those of a child.
Ah, the singing of a young child is splendid.
That's really doubly gross that he's oogling her and considers her a young child. Ugh.
You can cultivate technique with age, but you can't cultivate youth.
That's right. I think the young should be the main characters in all ages.
Yes, yes. Have you decided on a drink to toast with?
It took a while to choose amongst all these options, but that was pretty fun in itself. Then let's use this drink for our toast.
Oh, a good selection. Quite refined. I'd expect no less from a leader of ladies of the evening. You know a lot about drinks.
Wong handed the bottle to the waiter and closed the door to the drink cabinet. The gold key was still stuck in the keyhole on the door, as though it had been there the whole time. Woo! Wong took it, wrapped it carefully in a silk cloth. Uh-oh. Is he gonna test it for fingerprints? Oh no. And put it back in his pocket. Even Wong couldn't have noticed that the key had opened one more door without his knowing.
First, we'll just get you outside. What about the rest of you? We were invited here as guests, so it'll get troublesome if we don't leave as guests. Is there anything I can help with? As a man, I can't bear to escape before someone as young as you. What I'd appreciate most is for you to escape first without talking. I see.
Zell's father couldn't say anything more. At any rate, Oliver had to let the father escape from here. Once that was accomplished, the plan would be more than half a success. They went down to the third floor. The door to the tool room was normally locked, but Xiaolan had come by earlier and unlocked it. Alright, Xiaolan, now it's all up to you. Gotta get into safety. When they went inside, they saw Xiaolan by the window, whose curtain was fluttering in the wind. She had climbed up here from the outside, broken the window, and unlocked it from the inside for them.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Xiaolan. Take care of Zel's father.
Xiaolan nodded, tied the rope she'd brought with her to the window frame, and let it hang down outside.
We have friends below. They'll keep you hidden.
I'm grateful. I'll never forget what you've done for me.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. We're comrades and family. I met you for the first time today, but if you're Zel's father, then it's like we're related. If it'll make Zel smile, we'll bet our lives as often as it takes. That's what makes us the Wandering Dogs.
Please,
Oh my god!
take care of my daughter.
Oh my god! 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 He has permission from her father.
Of course.
Oh my god! She's saying something. Oh, okay. She's thank you, Guppy Force. She's saying enough dilly-dallying. Something mean. And thank you. I'll never forget your incredible kindness. Oh, that's the father saying.
Oh, thank you. I'll never forget your incredible kindness.
The father leaned out the window and went down the rope. Below, Major's subordinates were supposed to be waiting so they could hide him in a safe place. He went swiftly down the rope and landed in a back alley. I hope they're there. Thank God. Major's subordinates immediately dashed forward, put a large coat over him, and got him to a car. After watching them go, Xiaolan cut the hanging rope with a knife and disposed of it.
I'll let you handle the rest. I'm going back.
Xiaolan nodded. Oliver had to hurry back to the stage. After all, they would be doing a performance that required a piano soon. He went down the prearranged route and arrived safely in the waiting room. Welcome back! How'd it go? Oliver grinned and gave her a thumbs up. Charles and Nina lashed onto him, hiding their voices but laughing together, sharing the joy. Woo! Okay, you guys. Ding, dingity ding ding. Is this the place? Is this the place? Because I think this is a pretty good place to stop. Is it here or a little further? A little more, okay. Then the four gathered on the stage once again. Even without words, Sal could tell that the plan had succeeded by their expressions. Thank you, Oliver.
Your father got a chance to hear you sing, Zell.
Huh? Now that she thought about it, all her short meetings with her father before now had been sad things. Chances to console each other for painful memories. She had never let him hear her sing. She thought that singing would just bring more tears. However, by singing together with all the wandering dogs, she thought of it as fun for the first time. She felt as though the fun feelings and emotions had been communicated at least a little. Zal could feel her eyes tear up. Apparently Wayne also understood what their relieved faces signified. He finally relaxed his shoulders and smiled, as though honoring their efforts. Kick ass. And the night went on, right here. Yep. That's where you wanted me to... Here we go. Okay. Mission accomplished. They successfully rescued her father. Oh, wait. You want when dessert was... Yeah, dessert finished at Rose's table. Yeah, okay. We've successfully rescued Zell's father. Alright. That was amazing. Seriously, I love that so much. Next time, looks like we'll see what the big thing that Rose is gonna do, the big meeting, how it goes down. I really hope nobody dies, because if somebody dies here, after all the times where people escape death in insane ways, especially the villains, like, I can't, like, I'll be really pissed if when somebody dies here, especially one of the good guys. Oh my god, and I couldn't bear it if one of the wandering dogs died. I am so nervous. They need to get out of this chapter alive. Tomorrow is the next episode. Tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be as long as today was, but it might be. So until then, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You're all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.